Hello and welcome to Indie Miners. I'm your host Al, and in Melbourne we've got BJ. G'day Beach, how are you?
Good morning, mate. Hope everything's well.
Yeah, mate, all's good. Look, I'm looking forward to getting into our discussion today about Roger Waters. He's re-released and reimagined the song Comfortably Numb for a 2022 facelift. Mate, do you want to give us a bit of a rundown on what's going on?
Absolutely. So, Comfortably Numb, I think everyone knows that particular song, or most people should. It's been reimagined. So, Roger Waters, in lockdown, thought of the song and cast it as in a different light to what it originally was about. So, it was originally around the main character of the concept album being medicated. It's taken a much more dystopian worldview in terms of what it seems to be now about. And the song, it was originally conceived in lockdown, but he obviously brought it into the studio to re-record it. It has a cast of thousands, so Jonathan Wilson, Gus Seyfried, and Nigel Godrich of Radiohead fame have contributed to the recording of it. As I said, it's a much different tone, so it's been recorded in a different key, and the analytics, when comparing it to the original song, the Pink Floyd version from 1979, supports all of that. So the energy is much darker. It's less positive in its worldview. The original had a sort of a sunnier side to it, one could argue, and there's more time for atmospherics. It's a longer song compared to the original. So, Al, very interested to see what's your original thoughts of this. I'm sure that it's a little bit controversial, sort of re-recording your own tune. I'd love to get your thoughts on whether you thought this was an improvement or wasn't necessary even.
Yeah, that's a great question, mate, in terms of whether it's necessary. Look, I know that he's reimagined it for 2022 as to what's going through his head in terms of being in lockdown for the last 24 months where people have a lot of time on their hands, and maybe that idea of that dystopian kind of world that we may be heading towards or currently kind of are living in terms of the world of Donald Trump and the world of climate change. And basically, I think he just wanted to give it a facelift to basically say, well, this is the original track, this is the version that I think is kind of relevant in 2022. And look, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's anything amazing, but I think the fact that he's re-recorded it in A minor and has that real flat kind of monotone sound throughout the track kind of for me, it kind of reminds me of that scene in Back to the Future 2 where Michael J. Fox goes to the future and sees this dystopian kind of world where Biff Tannen has the giant high-rise casino and the world's just completely changed. And I think maybe for those fans out there, they might get something similar out of this, but it's really recorded really well, really mixed well by Gus Seyfried, as you mentioned before. I'm a massive fan of his single Hold On in particular. Thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. For me, if we were going to give it a star rating, it'd probably get like a 4. It's pretty hard to re-record a classic track of your own and get better than the original. So I'd be interested whether you've got any other further opinions on the re-release, mate.
Yeah, it's funny, and I love your Back to the Future 2 callback. It seems that it probably fits in a little bit with that maybe, but I didn't mind it. I mean, it's something we never really ask for. Like I think when you put out a track, you sort of feel as if the track has to sort of stay there and not change. And I sort of hear a lot of artists these days feeling as if they want to tinker with the song. And actually a number of artists, if you listen to the way in which they play certain songs live, it's certainly different to the original recording, whether you like it or not. I thought it was all right. Like I think if this was an original song that came out in these times, I think it would be a song that would be well thought of from a cultish or an indie perspective. It might not be necessarily a hit, whether we like it or not. I did enjoy it. I do question the motives as to whether he's just really just trying to piss people off. I mean, him and Dave Gilmour, they've been going at it for 30 years. Like I just sort of feel as if maybe it's time just to put down the weapons and just sort of shake hands, and I guess just sort of leave it at that. Gilmour actually wrote the song, so I don't know if he had actually a say in whether or not he was going to give consent to any of it. But look, overall, I was pretty happy with it. I sort of liked a lot of the atmospherics of it. I liked how there was the female vocals towards the end of the track. So in the original, it was much more of a Gilmour solo that was sort of coming across. But I do just sort of question as to, is it, I mean, no matter if I liked it or not, is it necessary? I'm just not sure, and I'm just not sure if this is, I'm hoping this is not like a precedent. I know that Paul McCartney tried to re-record some of the Beatles songs back in the mid-1980s, and that really did fall flat. This doesn't fall so flat, but yeah, it's a bit tricky, and I hope it doesn't become a trend.
Yeah, no, look, interesting thoughts, mate. And look, who knows what will come out next. That's our initial reaction and thoughts on Roger Waters re-releasing Comfortably Numb.
That wraps up another episode of Indie Miners. Please look to subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, and let us know if there's an album you would like us to look at. So until next time, bye for now, and thank you for watching.